Hi, everyone. Nadine Briggs here from Simply Social Kids. Last week, I had done a blog that was titled 8 Signs That Your Child or Your Teen Needs Social Coaching. So this week, I wanted to follow up on that because I gave a lot of reasons or things to look for to decide whether or not your child is at that point where maybe they do need to get some help. But I wanted to address a barrier that often comes up with teenagers in particular. Little kids, it's a little bit easier because they're going to come play with other kids and they generally don't have too big of an issue with that. They usually don't have any anxiety around coming, or if they have anxiety, they're able to overcome it because they want to go play with other kids. But teenagers are a little bit different. They can be really reluctant about joining, and you might be, as a parent, really concerned about their social life and the fact that they don't have friends, they don't not doing anything on the weekends. But yet, when you try to get them to join a program and try to do a social group trial, even, you get a lot of pushback from them, or they'll just flat out refuse to go. So I thought I would just talk about that a little bit because it is an issue that we deal with pretty effectively at the center. So I wanted just to share what are our strategies for that. So that's what our video is about this week. So one of the things, just to kind of go through the whole process, is that as kids get older, they reach the teen years, parents do become increasingly concerned about their social skills or lack thereof, because they're thinking to themselves, okay, we're middle school now and they still don't have any friends, or maybe they're in, high school, or maybe they're at the end of high school and they're going to go on to do whatever they're going to do after high school. And they don't have those skills to have that friend group, and they get along well with other people. And so it becomes more and more important as they get prepared to kind of launch and leave the nest, so to speak. So it is something that parents really struggle with and worry about with a lot of their teenagers. So what they'll usually do, usually around this time of year, honestly, around November, is they're always really hopeful that with the new school year, this is going to be the year they're going to find that friend group. This is going to be it for them. Everyone's really got that hopefulness at the beginning of the school year. But by around November, if that hasn't happened, then maybe there's something else going on, and maybe it is time to really get that help again, which is that last video, which I will link here. So we want to talk about what happens when you try to get them the social group, and maybe you do an intake with us, and we talk about what your teen's social difficulties are, maybe some things that you've seen and observed, those cringy moments where you're like, oh, they're just missing certain things. And then you talk to us, we schedule a trial group if it looks like our program is meeting the needs of your teen. So when that happens, and you have to have that conversation with your teenager, like, okay, I found this program and now we're going to go give it a try. And so that could be a difficult conversation because, you might get a lot of blowback from your teenager. So, and a lot of times they do. Like teenagers who we work with are very anxious. And so their first go-to when they're going to try something new, whether it's a program like ours or anything new, is there's going to be that initial worry about that. And a lot of times you're going to get some avoidance behavior around that. And it can be challenging because, as a parent, you can kind of see the future that they really do need something like this, but yet that anxiety is really going to kind of rear its ugly head, probably in a big way. And so what a lot of teens will start to say is, actually, I've got plenty of friends. I'm good. I don't need this. I really enjoy being alone. So I don't need to have friends because I'm really happy by myself. You might hear a lot of those kinds of things, or just like, no, mom, or no, dad, I'm not going. I don't need it. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm sure that might sound familiar to a lot of you. I'm fine. It's okay. Everything's good. Everything's great. I got tons of friends. So what they are actually worried about, though, and this is things that they'll express to us, is they're worried that, what if I go there and I already know I'm probably not going to know anybody, or I kind of hope that I don't know anybody there. So they're going to be worried about that. They don't know the adults in the room, so they're going to be worried about that. They might say things like, well, what if the kids aren't very nice? What if they're not nice people? Or what if the coaches make me participate in that I actually have to talk to other teenagers? That can be really scary for kids who just in the past have not really been really good at this stuff. So they've had a lifelong of experiences of not really being great at socializing. Or what if I say something really embarrassing? Or what if I'm just super uncomfortable when I'm there? Or what if everybody thinks I'm weird? Or what if everybody else there I think is weird, right? You can kind of, that one can cut both ways. And so they might start to get some physical discomforts, like, oh, I've got a stomach ache, I can't go. I've got a headache, I can't go. I don't feel well. And as a parent, you have to figure out, are they coming down with some kind of an illness, or is this just symptoms that are due to anxiety? And those symptoms are real, by the way. They're not faking it and just saying it to get out of it. They probably do really have the stomach ache and the headache and the things you can feel when you have anxiety. So not to discount those feelings, but what are they really driven by? Are they driven by anxiety or something, a medical problem? So just the fact that they're having so much anxiety around it really does show that this is probably something they do need to get in their lives in order to feel more comfortable and not feel so anxious and have all these what if thoughts when they think about socializing with other teens. So here are just some tips to help you through that. So the first one is empathy. Empathy is a really, really powerful tool. A lot of people don't realize how really powerful just having empathy is, particularly honestly for teenagers. So we encourage parents to just really try to think about what that's like for that teenager. They're going to walk into a room with, maybe 8 to 10 other teens that they've never met before for the first time, with adults they don't know, with a program they don't know, in a building that they don't know. It's a big ask. And so really acknowledging, like, I know this is really kind of feeling scary and this is really hard for you, and letting them know that you get it. You totally get it. Think about a time when you were uncomfortable. Maybe you had to go to a party or you didn't know anyone and you were really kind of worried about that, or you knew you were going to feel uncomfortable and you felt a little bit anxious. So try to channel your past experiences of when you felt that way. I can tell you from working with a lot of teenagers, they really, really appreciate having their views be validated. It's really pretty surprising how they're not validated on a regular basis. And teens will tell us that parents don't get my life. They don't understand. They think my phone is the root of all evil, all these different things that they think you don't understand. And so if you could really just try to understand this and empathize with them, it can go a really long way to helping them to realize, yes, I can do this and I do need the help that's being available to me or afforded to me here. It is a trial too, by the way. We do free trials. So it's not like there's any huge commitment. It's just come check it out and see what you think. Another way, the second one, is to really help them prepare for the future. Now, I'm going to caveat this one up front. If this particular topic creates more anxiety for your teenager, then I would not do this one. But if this doesn't create too much anxiety, it'd be a good thing to say, well, you know what, this is to get you ready for whatever the next big thing is in your life. So if you're going into middle school, then you're in middle school, then we want to prepare you for that. If you're going into high school, we want to prepare you for that. If you're in high school, we want to prepare you for whatever's after high school. So it's these soft skills that can really be used lifelong. And we're just preparing you for all the big phases of your life to make sure that you're feeling comfortable with people and you know how to make conversation, all the things that are necessary for friendships to happen. I would say also the third one is focus on friends. So rather than focusing all the bad stuff, all those what if scenarios that your teen might kind of throw at you, but really focus on the fact that, you might actually go there and meet some new people or like-minded people, and you might make some friends there. Now, obviously not something we can guarantee that they're going to make friends there, but it happens a lot. And a lot of times kids will get together outside of the program and they really form some long-lasting friendships. I've got some kids who've been friends for years based on people who they've met through this program. So, just shifting that thinking to the positive outcome that could happen with this experience rather than the negative outcome can kind of help them get into the right frame of mind to attend a trial. The fourth one is kind of a long one, so bear with me here. It has a lot of sub-steps to it. And that is, thinking about whenever you're going to do something that's really challenging, is breaking down that bigger goal into small little bite-sized pieces. So we have a bunch of different suggestions that I'm going to put here that are basically little strategies that we've used in the past to help kids feel comfortable to come to a trial. So one of them is to just try to get them to come to the parking lot. And then they can go home if they want to, but just kind of get them to that parking lot as maybe a first step. Or maybe they can get to the parking lot, and if nobody is there, let's say we're closed, well, peek in the windows. I don't mind if you peek in my windows, and they'll see that there's fun stuff in there. It looks like a really fun place. And I will put a photo of the inside of my center at the end of this video. Come to the center when there's just the coach there, potentially. So you'll obviously schedule that, but where there's no other teens. So you can pretty much just kind of come, check out the inside, meet who the coach is, and then go home without other peers being there. That might be a nice sizable step for them, or a small step for them to take in order to get them to kind of come in the door just the first time and take a look around. For all of these, we do have a ice cream stand like a mile away. So sometimes it can help. And I know parents who've done this where they've said, well, let's go get an ice cream afterwards. And that kind of help them to find the bravery to even do those first three suggestions under this sub goal of, the small steps to achieve a bigger goal. The other one is to just visit our social media accounts so they can see photos of the coaches in action, maybe check out more videos like the one you're watching now on our YouTube channel. We certainly hope we're not scary looking, say that always with a caveat, but just take a look at who are the staff, who are the coaches that would be the coach for your particular child, and just see as much as you can see. You'll see some things on our social media where we've had some parties in the past. You'll see Halloween parties. We used to have a party called Thanksmithika, which is a holiday mashup party, but you'll see teens having a good time at the center. So that's out there for them just to take a look and kind of get more familiar with what it might be like. You can also schedule just a Zoom meeting with us, with the coach that your child will be assigned to, just so you can meet that coach, and the coach can talk to you about what to expect. What does a typical group look like? I can tell you here what it looks like. Basically, there's conversation, kind of meet and greet in the beginning. There's a social lesson, and there's lots of gameplay and social coaching in the moment, both online and in person, and throughout the entire program. So there's a lot of entertainment value, but they're also getting a lot of coaching in the moment, and also a more structured lesson at some point during the hour that they're with us. Another suggestion is that maybe your team comes just for a little bit. They don't come for the whole hour the first time. When we've done this particular one, we've told kids like, oh, come for 10, 15 minutes. Just come, maybe meet some people or not, and just check it out, and then you can go home afterwards. What I found on this one, though, is usually, again, they've gotten in that door initially. So what I found with this one is they don't usually leave. They usually stay for the full hour, but telling them that they're only going to go there for a little bit. And if they do want to leave after the little bit, that's also fine. I'm not saying we would deceive them in any way. But usually if they can just at least get in the door, usually that's just enough. But it's just to get them in the door to stay for 10 minutes, and then we can leave. The teenagers don't usually attend with their parent, but if they're really anxious and they want you to come to the building, or if they want you to wait in the building, not in the room where the program is run, that's something we're not able to allow because of the privacy of the other participants. But we do have another little room where the parent could kind of hang out. And so if that's something that your team needs to feel comfortable to come to a trial, then we can accommodate that. You just have to have a conversation with them that you're going to do that ahead of time, so we're prepared for that. The fifth one is telling your teen that really all they need is like 15 seconds of bravery. Sometimes just breaking it down into literally 15 seconds of bravery can be enough to have them go, oh, maybe I can handle that. Like 15 seconds is really all it's going to take. And then once they're there, we'll take it from there. So just saying 15 seconds of bravery to try something new is really all you need. And then we will certainly try to make them feel comfortable once they get in the door. Like what we'll do generally is certainly acknowledge that they might be a little bit nervous, try to be really friendly. We greet them at the door, have another friendly teen, show them around, get them involved in a game that is really easy and not a lot of learning for the game if they've not played it before. Usually we'll start out with games that they can enter and leave without disrupting the game. So if they play it for a little bit, but then they want to go do something else, they can do that, and no one will be upset that they left. So we have several games that we use that are like that, so they can kind of figure out they want to play this for a little bit, and then maybe somebody invites them to go play air hockey or foosball or something, and they can go do that. The sixth one is, as a parent, try not to shame your teen or yell at them if they don't go. I certainly understand the frustration that parents can feel. And if here you are offering them this opportunity, and if they don't take it, it can be really frustrating. And sometimes parents will do some shaming or some yelling because they just simply don't know what else to do. I'm not judging at all on that. I know it can be really very, very difficult to work with somebody who doesn't do the things that they need. But I would try to do the steps listed, in here that I've listed here and also in the written blog instead of that, and see if we can't manage the anxiety and understand that anxiety around them coming into the center. I've had a lot of parents who haven't been able to get their kid to come for one reason or another. We at this point where we're giving them all these steps, and they'll apologize profusely. Oh, I'm so sorry, my teen didn't come. And I always say, oh, please don't apologize. That's anxiety. And we understand anxiety. We're trained in anxiety. We help kids who have anxiety. But if we can manage that and help them to understand as much about their trial day before they come, really having that understanding and that empathy for the situation that your teen is in can be very, very helpful. Like I said, once they're there, we'll do the rest. And it's not really a commitment. They're just going to come the one time and see if they like it. For kids who have extreme anxiety, I will say that sometimes one 60-minute trial isn't enough, but our program is month to month. So sometimes parents will say, look, I know that they're not going to be comfortable after 1 hour, one trial. The trial is free. They can still do that, but they might just enroll for 1 month and just see how it goes, just to give them, a few more times to become comfortable with that. And that's absolutely fair. But our commitments are only month to month. So you don't have to make a long-term commitment in order to come. And that can also help your teen feel comfortable, like, oh, okay, I can do this just for a short period of time. And then if I don't like it, I have a way out. And a lot of times they just want to have that way out, even though they probably won't take it. So we've had teens who've tried, all of the above, actually, all those examples I just gave you in terms of how to kind of get them to come in the door and make them feel more comfortable. And honestly, once we're able to do that and accommodate their needs at those different steps along the way, they come and they have a great time. A lot of times they meet new friends. They really enjoy coming. And some of those teens who are the most reluctant to come in the beginning are the ones who give their parents the least flack about coming week to week, and really do enjoy being there and look forward to it every single week. And so it is worth having that 15 seconds of bravery and all the other steps in order to get them in that door. So let's work together. Let's see if we can give your teen the tools to just kind of make that first step and see if it's right for them. And hopefully we can do that, and we can get them on track to be able to feel comfortable socializing, make new friends, and be successful in the next stages of their lives. So if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit like, maybe leave me a comment or two. Let me know if there's anything in the future you would like me to talk about. I'm happy to consider that and do that for you. And I really appreciate you listening. Thanks so much.